What we have right now in view, and using my Attic Infinity live view camera, and what I have in view right now is actually M78, which is one of the Orion Nebula. Of course, everybody knows it, loves it, and it's a magnificent nebula. There's so many other nebulas available in Orion. M78 is actually slightly northeastish of Alnitak, which is the very left star in Orion's belt. So, you know, it's an emission nebula with a little bit of reflection as well. It's fairly unassuming. Through an eyepiece, you're probably not going to see it unless you're at a really dark site. But obviously through the magic of cameras, you can see it here, so that's pretty awesome. So I'll be coming in and out a little bit. You'll hear me from time to time, and I will be just trying to find some different objects for us in the night sky. I think I can still pull up Triangulum Galaxy. Don't believe it's gone behind my house yet. It actually may have. Yeah, unfortunately. Alright, so Triangulum Galaxy, or Pinwheel Galaxy over in Triangulum has actually gone behind my house. So, so we're gonna see what else we can find. I think what we'll shoot over to the Horsehead Nebula here, which is, if you've never seen Horsehead live anyways, it's pretty awesome. So so give me a couple seconds here. I'm going to pan it over, turn off the microphone so you don't hear me fussing at my telescope. Like I said, my telescope alignment for some reason just did not go totally the way I wanted it to, but everything has typically been just off view tonight, so usually hasn't taken too much searching. So I'm going to give this a chance to find it for us here. Worst case scenario, we don't find it, we'll find something else. Wrong direction there. We actually should be coming up on it here. So that brighter star there to the left of the view should actually be, and you can slightly see some nebulosity around it, and we should be seeing Horsehead Nebula here very soon. So Get it more centered into view here. Yeah, so if any of you do have telescopes, don't have telescopes, you understand that sometimes, no matter how great you think your polar alignment really is, it kind of stinks. So, but that's okay. We've got the Horsehead nebula right where we want it. It is going to be right in here. And give me 2 seconds here. I'm gonna scoot our exposures down to 30 seconds so we don't have to wait 80 seconds to pop to get a view out of it. Let's see here. We'll start over here. Alright. Tell you what we need to do is I need to get some heated gloves because it is about 32 degrees right now, and I know some of you are laughing at me because you're from places where it gets well below that, but you know, I'm in Georgia and it's cold and it kind of stinks. So, but you know, it's worth it, I guess. We endure what we have to for the things we love. So, alright, so you can just see the shadow of the horse head there. So we'll see how another stacked image here does. That'll clear it up for us a little bit. Need to, we'll bump our exposure times up here a little bit. We've got a car backing out here. You may see a little light flash coming into the camera shot here. Developing pretty nicely. I think we'll bump up our exposure times a little bit because just see if we can catch a little more light and detail out of it. Yeah, there's the light flash from the car. For anybody that is watching or cares, or I know there's only like 3 subscribers, so you know, hey, there is literally it has been raining almost non-stop in Georgia for the past couple of weeks. I mean, it's just been almost every single day rain. So you know, first chance I could get to get out here, I had to kind of jump at it and spend a little time out here in the front yard. Kind of invited folks from the neighborhood and stuff if they wanted to come by and take a look at things. Oh, caught us a satellite coming through there. Anybody out there know what satellites are passing through Orion? This is the second one actually I've had passing through these Orion shots. I actually had one passing through the M78 shot earlier. I'm not entirely sure. I tried actually looking up which ones were passing through, or may have been passing through at the time, and the best I can come up with is I think these are Starlink satellites passing through here, through the Orion Nebula. It seems like those are the ones that have been passing through Orion. Oh, there we go. A little more horse head. So, I mean, of course, I can play with the histogram down here, which is really great. Being able to play with the histogram and kind of do what you want to do with it. You know, it's for better or worse, usually just makes the image more noisy, really making it much brighter. But I do like to try to play with the histogram a little bit just to see what kind of features I can tease out by adjusting different things. It actually seems like kind of bumping these midtones up. I'm not going for pretty right this second, more for just, hey, letting you see it, you know. After this, We'll let this expose here kind of one more time, get a good, try to see if we clear up this image just a little bit more. I don't know that we will. I mean, it's, it takes a lot of exposure time really to get a good Horsehead Nebula image. Horsehead Nebula being a quote-unquote dark nebula. I mean, really, it's just a kind of an H2 cloud, hydrogen 2 cloud that's just a pillar of cloud, really, popping up out of the emission nebula that it's in, and just being silhouetted. So I like that they call them dark nebulas when, it's not like they're dark, they just are silhouetted, right? So, the inside of it's probably glowing quite a bit. It's just what we see is just a silhouette. But nonetheless, still amazing to look at. And like I said, in that lower left-hand corner, which was kind of the telltale that I was where I needed to be, was NGC 2023. And it is just kind of a reflection nebula that's around that star there. Yeah, so slightly more detail as we've stacked here, and honestly I could set my exposures a lot longer and really sit here and try to collect a lot of good detail and light, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to spread the view and love here and let folks see what's going on. So, alright, so here's what we're going to do. I don't have to really take any time to slew particularly, so we're going to sit here and we are actually going to just move ourselves over to the Flame Nebula because it is close by and easy to find. Let's see here if I can find it. Just being kind of Il Celestron's not wanting to bring it up on the list. I'm going to have to look it up by its number here. Switch to our kind of fast view mode here so we can just find stuff quick and dirty. Let's get this histogram spread back up here, get us viewing where we need to be viewing here. I like to kind of turn it up. It's really kind of gnarly looking, but it highlights stuff really well, so lets me know where I need to be. So Alright, so turns out my telescope's going to be a little difficult on this one. I really could have panned over to it where I was at, but I really didn't want to just pan over to, slew over, I guess, to another object that wasn't what I was trying to find. So re-slew here, try to recapture here. There we go. Alrighty. That's what we're looking for right there. So I actually was going the right direction the first time around, and then I doubted myself, thought I was going the wrong way, and that's what you get for doubting yourself, I guess, right? Alright, so there we go. So we got the Flame Nebula here. Bring it a little more into center here. And there we go, up there. So that's Alnitak, actually. And then something we can do that's really nice. Oh, wrong direction. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody else out there has issues with it. I do. I have the hardest time getting my brain wrapped around the orientation of my scope. So, up, down, left, right, I don't know, man. I just push the button a little bit, see which way it's going, and figure out if that's the way I want it to go, and then if it's not, I move the other way, right? So, so let's see what we can do here. We're going to get ourselves pulled a little further over here. Yeah, so what I like is being able to kind of pull this over so I can get Flame Nebula stacked in there with NGC 2023 as well. Alnitak is neat and all, but it's just a big bright star that, you know, kind of glows. But it's kind of nice to be able to see some additional nebulosity all kind of in one thing there. Alright, let's get us some good accumulation time. Go ahead and drag these whites and midtones down. Go ahead and scoot our histogram down a bit. Figure out where it's going to get us here. Tell you, I mean, it's been consistent. It's the objects have been consistently just slightly to the top of the view on the screen. So if I just keep moving that direction, they're there. Tell you, man, it's frustrating for anybody else that ever felt my woes. Same woes, you know. It's frustrating. You take time, you make sure you're polar aligned, and you know, you think you've done a really solid alignment. I did a 5+2 alignment on this stuff. Well, 2+5, I guess, alignment. And I just, you know, it's like, what in the world? Why can I not get this thing to do what I want it to do and go exactly where I want it to? And some nights it'll be spot on, of course, and then some nights it's just, you're like, where are you going? What are you pointing at? So, but I'll take it. If all I got to do is scoot up a little bit in my viewpoint, that's okay with me. So, there we go. So, nice shot of Flame Nebula. Really, really interesting nebula. I think it's a really great one. It's just such a neat looking object. So Flame Nebula, uh, I like to, I'm not going to lie to you, I like to read this stuff off of the information I have here. So, of course, Flame Nebula, it's NGC 2024. It's right, just honestly, literally east of Alnitak, just off of Alnitak. It is going to be difficult to see in a telescope unless you're using, unless you're at a fairly dark site. And it's it is an emission nebula, so it's giving off its own light, as opposed to a reflection nebula, which is just dust that's reflecting light from nearby stars. But it's just not a very, very bright emission nebula by comparison. I mean, we're doing 45-second exposures here, which you can see, and typically on the Orion Nebula, I only need about a 4-second exposure, and it's a very, very bright image of the Orion Nebula. So, I guess we'll go to that next, just for jollies. We're going to go to the Orion Nebula next, and then I am going to attempt to see if we can image the Witch Head Nebula, which is part of the Orion constellation as well. And it is actually just, I want to say it's just kind of west of Rigel. So we're going to take a look at that here in a little bit. So, the Orion Nebula, all of them, as of right now, so the Flame Nebula is roughly 900 light years away. The Horsehead, I believe, is somewhere in the range of 1,600, 1,500 light years away. Let's see here. Let's just do the quick and dirty here. 800, actually only 120 light years away. So, maybe it's the Orion Nebula. The regular Orion Nebula is about 1,600, I think. So, 1,400, yeah. So, all right. So your Orion Nebula and I believe Running Man, which is just above it, are in that 1,500, 1,600 range. They're kind of part of the same complex. And then, of course, like I said, the other ones. But they're relatively close, so they're basically kind of next door cosmically. But you figure that these are, when the light that we're looking at right now left the Flame Nebula, it was the 500s. It was 500 BC. I'm not great with history, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly what was going on at that time. I usually like to look that up. It's kind of one of my favorite things about looking at these objects and just the vastness of space in general is the time frames that are involved. There are some galaxies that I want to look at tonight after I'm done with the broadcast here that are, 188 million light years away, and it takes your brain a second to fathom that the light you're seeing is as old as the dinosaurs, because it's taking 188 million years for that light to travel to you. So it's just kind of really insane to think that light is it's 188 million years old. So you're literally looking back in time, looking back in history, with the way this light is traveling to us, and it's a little awe-inspiring. Honestly, it's a little humbling, and it's almost a bit of an honor, if that sounds silly, but you figure, these photons are, thousands, hundreds, thousands, millions of years old, and somebody else may not be looking at them, so they're missing out, and I'm looking at them and I'm getting to see them. They're you kind of feel like, oh, this is all for me. Obviously other people are looking at it, but it's still exciting, and it's a little bit humbling, and just kind of a little bit of an honor, that this stuff is out there for us to view. And I don't know what your religious beliefs are. I don't want to make the show about religion, but I believe in God, and I find it very interesting, and just honestly just amazing, and that these things are out there, that he created all this amazing stuff, and whatever you believe, I hope that you find some kind of satisfaction or some kind of you know feeling of awe and appreciation for what's out there. So, all right, well, that's enough philosophy for now. It's enough getting deep there. So Flame Nebula, it's honestly, it's a beautiful nebula. It's really fun to look at, and yeah, pretty neat. So, all right, so what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna go to we're just gonna go to the Orion Nebula. It's kind of the piece de resistance, right? Everybody loves it. Anybody that's looked at it in a telescope knows it, because it's pretty obvious. So we're going to slew over to it here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone off here real quick, and I'll be back with you in a second. So this is kind of the preview mode, and I don't know if you can see it, but obviously as it refreshes, there's a streak, a little smaller streak, comes straight down through the middle. I will tell you right now, there is no other explanation for why that many satellites would be passing through view. So, and I'm pretty sure I'd read something that the Starlink satellites were passing through Orion a lot. So, whether you like SpaceX, I personally love SpaceX. I could do without Starlink. I get what he's trying to do with it. I can appreciate what he's trying to do with it. Trying to provide the opportunity for internet for all, kind of everybody, to have convenient, free, worldwide internet. And that's neat. But, gosh, it's just, I really do fear that it is going to be a major problem for astronomy, for ground astronomy. And of course, that's nothing new. That's kind of been the word, is that it was going to be a problem. But but it's frustrating. It doesn't make it any less frustrating when you're sitting here and it's just satellite. Oh, look, there's another satellite. So yeah, definitely a little frustrating. Whoa. Right, so we're gonna switch to actual view mode here. And I don't know how long, so this was my first time using the live broadcast here on this software. And I don't know how long I've actually been broadcasting for, because it was yellow, and I was like, okay, well, that must mean it's loading or getting ready to broadcast, but then it wasn't really changing, and I was like, okay, must be that it just is yellow. But nope, guess what? It's now green. I have no clue how long it's been green for. So if you're just now seeing stuff, then I apologize. I have been taking a jaunt through the Orion Nebula, and apparently nobody knows, or I had no clue. I don't even know how much of it actually filmed. So that kind of stinks, but that's okay. We'll whoa, watch out. You know what? That is way too much exposure time for the Orion Nebula, so we're going to bump it down to about 4 seconds here. will get us what we need. Alright, let's hit play. There we go. That'll get us a little bit better there. Alright, so, like I said, I don't know exactly what kind of, what you've seen so far. I don't even know what showed in the videos so far, but I have to deal with this crap in my front yard. Cars left and right all stinking night driving through the neighborhood, and it drives me crazy. But I've been taking a jaunt through the Orion complex, really just kind of the whole Orion constellation, looking at all of the different, several of the different things that are available there. It is really just a neat complex of different things. We took a look at M78, which is just kind of its own little emission nebula, kind of northeast of Alnitak. Took a look at the Horsehead Nebula, which is just south of Alnitak, and Flame Nebula, which is right next to Alnitak, kind of off east of Alnitak. And now we are taking a look at the Orion Nebula, and for some reason my camera does not seem like it wants to refresh, so we're gonna stop our imaging there and see what happens here. Okay, yeah, for some reason my imaging froze up there, so that's okay. We're going to get it back into view here, and we're going to get it fixed. Part of that is because really, so this camera is really, honestly, it's pretty amazing. I mean, it does live stacking kind of like right in view, which is amazing because it will clarify your view a little bit, gives you a little bit more impressive stuff to look at. But if you forget that it's in that, and then you're trying to move your view around, it's kind of messes things up. So there we go. Alright, that's perfect. Frame perfect. We're going to set it on the actual imaging view here, and we'll let it develop here for a minute with these 4-second bursts here. Change our histogram just a little bit here. Try not to have it looking too crazy, but I like to try to get some of that mid-tone highlight tone there just to really, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, we can turn our blacks down just a smidge. You know, it's going to be a little noisy, but man, just being able to pull out all that cloud is just wonderful. And I know that there's, you know, great ways you can do that with CMOS, and with the CMOS camera anyways, you know, and just your standard, you know, Nikons and things like that. That's great and all. If you want to spend $3,200 on a camera, have at it. I do not have $3,200 to spend on a camera. So, off of Rigel. increase my. If I thought I was looking at the right thing, I feel like we're in the right area, but there are a lot of stars there. It's hard to tell. Yeah, be honest with you, yeah. I don't know. This one may take a little hunting here, and I don't want to hold you up. So, anyways, not like I said, not sure what got recorded. So this is probably a terrible.